Welcome, everyone, to Marvelous or the Death of Cinema. I'm Discourse Stu.
Hi, it's Nicole.
And I'm Cole.
And on this Patreon exclusive episode, we are talking about Bride of Chucky, the actually good killer doll movie from 1998, written by Don Mancini, directed by Ronnie Yu, starring Brad Dourif and Jennifer Tilly, and Katherine Heigl. If you remember Katherine Heigl.
Yeah, pre-Grey's Anatomy, Katherine Heigl. I'm just going to say right up, besides this being a very, very influential movie on core parts of like what I like to call the eternal 15-year-old that lives inside my heart, this is going to be a two millennials explain to a Zoomer episode, because obviously me and Stu, we're millennials, we're the senior members of this podcast, and this was a very formative film for both of us for, I don't know, maybe different reasons. I feel like there are two kind of audiences for Bride of Chucky, if that makes sense. But I'm assuming, Cole, this was your first time seeing maybe a Chucky movie, I believe?
My first time seeing anything Chucky related.
Okay.
I completely passed. I mean, there wasn't really Chucky growing up. That was like I grew up in the Paranormal Activity, like Insidious of horror. Never actually watched a lot of those films.
Not a golden age.
Not a golden age for horror.
No, you came of age for horror during like the worst period, in my opinion. Like the mid to late 2000s, early 2010s were kind of dire, in my opinion.
I'm trying to think of like the horror films that I've seen in theaters, and honestly, not that many. I mean, I guess Picnic at Hanging Rock, if you would call that a horror film. I saw that.
Well, that's the 1970s.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff that
But,
would
like,
have been
nothing
released
new.
or that you would have watched as a teenager, whether in theaters or on cable. Because I'm assuming either, Stu, this was like a VHS staple for you, or this was something you constantly caught on TV.
It was a rental. It was a VHS rental.
Okay, see, this, I would constantly watch this on TV. Sci-Fi Channel in the United States would always be playing it, and I'd always be watching it whenever it came on.
Kind of not a horror movie person, I'm realizing.
Yeah.
Because, I never really like went out of my way to catch a horror film on cable or on demand. I mean, I would watch them like, during October, you'd knock out the classics, your Night of the Living Deads, your like first two Friday the 13th films, Halloween, stuff like that. But I never really delved beyond kind of the basics. Doing this podcast, I mean, I'd watch like horror films like Houseu, stuff like that, but not really delved into the American stuff as much.
Yeah, I'm assuming like because Child's Play, the franchise, really exists within that period of the big slashers of the 1980s. Like Chucky's a contemporary of Freddy Krueger, Jason, Pinhead, who gets an explicit shout out in this very, very meta movie. You can tell immediately this is one of the biggest beneficiaries of like the post-Scream moment.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like a bit closer in cultural age to like millennial adolescence than I think yours. So there, like, I am very interested in like your perspective as not just someone who hasn't seen any films in this series, but something that is taking like the pivotal film in this franchise that turns the tone of what it used to be. Because I think I said previously to you before, like when we got off my last episode, that you don't need to see any of the other Child's Play movies at all in order to either watch this or even get enjoyment out of it.
As a newcomer, I think like maybe I would have benefited from context, just in terms of like understanding the thematic inversion that this film did, to the Child's Play franchise, because it's second.
This is the fourth.
This is the fourth. Oh my god!
Yeah, this is the fourth movie. Yeah.
Wow. But I liked it. I picked up immediately on like it's pretty obvious in the film itself, like the Bride of Frankenstein riff. Love that movie. Obviously this more feminist inversion of that. But yeah, no, had a blast watching that.
Oh hell yeah! I genuinely love to hear that.
Yeah, it was a good entry into the franchise. I found the plot very like get up and go. It doesn't really waste a lot of time in setting up its characters, which to me stung a little bit just because I found Jennifer Tilly very attractive as woman, not very attractive as a doll.
Well, I might disagree slightly with you there, but I think we're all in agreement. This is gonna be another one of those episodes where we all queen out over how much we want to fuck a specific woman.
Oh yeah, no,
or one of our favorite bonding exercises to do as podcast co-hosts, by the way.